Lord Tremendous here. Got another battle report here for you. Game 2 of the SHILOH GT 2012 or 2014. I don't know why I keep saying 2012. It's 2014. God bless it. Oh, I've been up late. Anyway, this is Game 2 of the SHILOH GT. It's a 2,500 point battle. Lord Tremendous of the Warriors of Chaos, that is me, versus Paul Bartholomew of the Lizardmen. And real cool guy. Let me just go ahead and get that out of the way right now. I know I say that about everybody, but trust me, if I ever run into a jag-off at a tournament, I'll say it on my battle report, because it's the internet, and the anonymity of the internet makes it so you can't punch me in the face. So, I'm an internet tough guy. But yeah, he played a Lizardman list, and he played as it very, very well. But we'll get to that. Scenario 2 was a modified Blood and Glory deployment. The deployment was 15 inches from the board edge and 9 inches off the side, so you couldn't have anything 9 inches from the short edges of the board. The player with the highest fortitude got the +1 to go first, and in the event of a tie, you just rolled off. The victory conditions were the same as in the Big Red Book, but the extra victory point conditions were you got 200 victory points for controlling your own table corners, you got 400 of extra victory points for controlling your opponent's table corners, and you got 200 points for completing your secret mission. My secret mission for this one was number 8. It was called We're Going to Need a Bigger Boat. Have a unit charge and successfully beat and break an enemy unit that outnumbers them to start. I figured this would be a great one for me to use against a Lizardman because I saw his list and he has a lot of big bricks. So I figured everything of his pretty much outnumbers me, so I'll do this one. Here's my list. As always, if it's my SHILOH GT list, obviously. So if you've seen it before, you know what it is, so feel free to fast forward. You're not going to hurt my feelings. But if you haven't, what are you doing watching this one? You should be watching the first game first. Whatever. Anyway, I have my Demon Prince, Lord Tremendous. He's the Mark of Tzeentch. He's level 3 Wizards, Chaos Armor, Charm Shield, Dragonbane Gem, other Trickster Shard, Soul Feeder, Scale Skin, Flaming Breath, and Lower Metal. My hero choices are an Exalted Hero, Catalyst, the Keep of the Colors. He's got the Mark of Tzeentch. He's my BSB. He's got a Halberd, Chaos Steed, Helm of Many Eyes, and a Dawnstone. I also have an Exalted Hero named Berserk. He's my Mark Korn, Extra Hand Weapon, Toten, Luckstone, having Dragon Helm, wearing Crown of Command, crowning Exalted Hero, and he's a badass. And then I have, last but not least, of course, my Chaos Sorcerer, Saval, the Mercenary of Chaos. He's got the Mark of Tzeentch. He's my level 2 Wizard. He's on a Demonic Mount, Packhog. He's got the Warrior Bane, Enchanted Shield, Skull Katam, Talisman of Protection, and the Lore of Tzeentch. My core choices consist of 5 Chaos Warhounds with Scaled Skin, 23 Chaos Warriors, Blood Tide with the Mark Korn, Full Command, Halberds, and Banner of Fury, and of course my Chariot, the Vessel of Change with the Mark of Tzeentch. My special choices consist of 5 Chaos Knights, the Teeth of Tzeentch. They've got the Mark of Tzeentch and Sorcerous Weapons, Band of Musicians, Standard of Discipline, and Bad Attitude. And my rare choices consisted of 3 Skull Crushers, Korn's Wrath, with Band of Musician, Lances, and a Banner of Swiftness. And of course, the one, the only, the Mutalith Vortex. Gotta love the beast. Here's my opponent's list. I completely forgot to get a copy of his list or get a picture of it or whatever. Just completely forgot. I meant to do it at the end of our game, but I just, there was a lot going on, and I'm scatterbrained as it is. So here's what he had. I don't remember all of it. It's going off of memory. But he had a Slann as his general, who was also his BSB. He was a level 4 wizard with the Focus of Mystery, a Reservoir of Eldritch Energy, the Lore of High Magic, and maybe something else. I really don't remember. His hero choices were a Scarvet on a cold one. Pretty sure he had a great weapon, and I think he had a Dawnstone. Maybe more. I can't remember. He had another Scarvet on a cold one. A magic sword, I think. I don't remember. He got into combat. Well, you'll see. I really don't remember what he had. And then he had a Skink Priest, who was his level 1 wizard with a Dispel Scroll, and he used Lore Beast. He had Wisdom's Wild form. His core choices were 2 units of Skinks with Javelins and 1 unit of Skink with Blowpipes. All of them were 10-man. And then he had a big unit of 37 Saurus Warriors with full command, hand, weapon, and shield. I don't believe they had a magic banner. I don't even think they can take a magic banner, but I don't remember. His special choice consists of 38 Temple Guard with full command and banner Eternal Flame, 2 units of Pterodon riders, one of which had 3 Pterodon riders, one of which had Firebolas, and a Bastillodon with a solar engine. His rare choices consisted of 2 units of single salamanders, with I think 3 or 4 handlers. Here are my spells: 3 from Metal, 2 from Zinch, 1 from the Beast. And my opponent's spells: he had all the high magic spells, he had Wisdom's Wild Form on his Skink, and I think that's it. Oh, well, yeah, he had the Bastillodon's Bound spell. Here's deployment. Like I said, a little funky. You had to be 9 inches away from the edges, and you could be 15 inches in. So I took advantage. I went the extra few inches it gave me straight forward. I needed to get it into him quick. I knew with the slan, cast, and all sorts of high magic spells, I was going to be in trouble if I waited. Here's my opponent's right flank. There's a salamander with his crew and a unit of skinks with blowpipes. Here's my opponent's center. From left to right, there's a Scarvet, there's a Bastillodon, there's a whole ton of, Saurus Warriors. In front of them are a unit of Skinks with Javelins and his other Salamander with his handlers. Over here on the left flank are his Temple Guard with his Slan, the other Scarvet on a Cold One, his Skink Priest running around by himself, unit of Skinks with Javelins, and his Pterodons. Here's my right flank. There's Saval and the Muleth in the forest because I was afraid of getting shot off the table. And my center, which consisted from left to right my knights with my BSB, my Demon Prince, my dogs, and my Skull Crushers. And my left flank, which consisted of my warriors and my chariot. Here's turn 1 after movement. As you can see, I got to go first, which is just really, really cool. Saval took a long distance charge at his Pterodons, who moved up really, really far, and I actually made it. I think I needed a 10 or 11 to hit him, and I made it. My knights were also trying to act like Saval, charged the Skinks because they needed a 10, an 8, a 9 or a 10, and I missed it by like 2. But yeah, they stood, shot, and killed 2 of my knights. I was like, wow, that sucks. Meanwhile, everything else comes up, and my chariot, which is now out of position, moves over to get into combat with something that he can actually hurt. There's a better picture of my knights failing their charge and being punished for it by losing 2 of them right off the bat. And there's Saval making the long-distance charge into the Pterodons, which is huge, because to tie them up that early in the game, like first thing in the game, is huge. During my magic phase, the beast targets the Skinks because they're the only thing in range, and gives them stupidity for the rest of the game. I think he also ends up killing like 4 or 5 of them, so that was pretty cool. And then in combat, turns out that one of these Pterodon riders is a unit champion. So Saval issues a challenge, the little Pterodon dude accepts, and Saval does 2 wounds to him. And he actually makes a save because Saval's only strength 4. So 1 wound on him and a charge. They're steadfast and they don't flee. So we go to bottom 1 after movement, and as you can see, my Lizardman opponent is not a coward. He does actually come up. His Scarvet charges my Demon Prince, which was actually unexpected. And everything else kind of moves up to start really harassing me. As you can see, the skink screens start coming up and stuff like that. There's a better picture of his crazy-ass Scarvet looking for glory by killing Lord Tremendous, as if. During his magic phase, Arcane Unforging rears its ugly head. I'm able to ward save the wound, and he rolls a 1 to destroy my BSB's crown, or yeah, his what's it called? His Dawnstone. That's what he ended up targeting, and he rolls a 1, and so the Dawnstone remains. It was huge. That really comes into play later. He gets handed glory off on his Temple Guard, and he raises their initiative, and I just didn't care, so I let it go. During his shooting phase, he's able to kill one of my dogs because apparently Lizardmen hate animals, I guess. And they're able to slip a wound through on the beast who's hanging out in the forest because I was trying to avoid that. In combat, Saval is able to finish off his Pterodon opponent. He gets a reroll for his trouble, and then he runs them down. They flee, and they go 10, and Saval goes 11. This guy had his Wheaties, let me tell you. So we go to top of 2 after movement. During the combat with the Demon Prince and stuff like that, I'm able to do a wound to the Scarvet, and the Scarvet's able to do a wound to me. He wins the combat because he's got a charge and a wound to my wound, but it doesn't matter because I'm unbreakable. So yeah, like I said, we go to top of 2 right here, and the Beast charges the Skinks, who have to stand and take it because they're stupid. They stand and shoot and put another wound through on the damn Beast. That sucked. My Knights charge his other unit of Skinks to flee and get away. The ensuing panic checks cause his Skink Priest to panic. Yeah, with the reroll 9, the Skink Priest panics, and so Saval runs over there and try to intervene himself a little bit so that if the Skink Priest doesn't rally, it'll bounce through him and go off the table. Meanwhile, everything else just kind of starts trying to get into position to charge stuff. The Skullcrushers come around to go after the Bastiladon or the Saurus Warriors. The dogs run forward just to get out of the way, and the Warriors ignore the Salamander and the Skinks to go and try to get into combat around this stupid little house that's in the middle of the table. There's a better picture of my Mutalisk slamming into what remains of the Skinks. And there's a shot of the Skinks and the Priest fleeing from my Knight's charge. My Knights charged the Skinks, and then the Skinks running through the Priest forced him to charge, which was awesome. During my magic phase, I get Treason off on his Skink Priest, and the entire purpose of that was to just make sure that the Skink Priest kept running. In combat, his Scarvet, I put 4 wounds on him, and he makes all 4 saves. It was devastating, because he's able to put another wound through on me, and that hurt my feelings. In combat over here, lo and behold, the Mulith is easily able to finish off the Skinks, and that was fun. So we go to bottom of 2 after movement, and he kind of throws me for a little bit of a loop here. He throws a curve at me. His Temple Guard ended up charging my Knights, not the Beast. I thought he was going to go after the Beast. The Knights stand because I didn't think he would make the charge, but he did. So, oops. Meanwhile, his Skinks rally, but his Priest does not. However, he doesn't run far enough to flee off the table. I should have backed Saval up a little bit. That was my fault. But hey, that's cool. He's not casting Wizard's Wild Form on anything, and I'll take that every time. There's a better picture of his Temple Guard and Slan slamming into my remaining Knights and BSB. They were in a little bit of trouble here. During his magic phase, he gets Soul Quench off on my Chariot. And while it doesn't do a lot of damage, it does do a wound to him, and that sucks because my Chariots have a way of exploding. During the shooting phase, the Salamander and Skink combo take out, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of my Khorne Warriors, so that sucks. And just, I think, on a whim, he fires off some shots at the dogs and kills another one, which is just rude. But they make their their panic check, which was good. In combat over here, I make all my saves, and he makes all his saves again. I don't remember exactly how much we do to each other, but it's unfortunate. So I don't believe they're really fighting anymore. I think they're actually trying to work out their differences. And then we go into combat over here, and my Knights blow it out of the water. My BSB has to issue a challenge. He accepts. I kill it, and I get a reroll for my trouble, which is whoop-de-doo. But yeah, my 3 Knights, we kill a decent amount of these Temple Guard, and it's enough that I win combat. Of course, they're stubborn, steadfast, whatever. They're not going anywhere, but I actually won combat. My Knights were badass. I made a lot of armor saves, I don't mind telling you. There's a better picture of the reroll my BSB got, which amounts to nothing. I'll let you know right now, I never have to use it. So, here's top of 3 after movement. And my Mulith charges into the Temple Guard because I did not realize that they had the Banner of Eternal Flame. Yeah, he attacked and stuff like that, but I had no idea the Banner of Eternal Flame was in that unit, and because it didn't come up. It wasn't a factor in the combat. It didn't matter. So I was like, oh no, I had no idea until in combat, and that bites me in the ass, obviously. Meanwhile, my Skullcrushers slam into the Saurus Warriors, which I was very happy about. And my Khorne Warriors continue to move up to try to deal with the Bastiladon. There's a better picture of the Beast making it into combat, as well as the Chariot. I'm sorry, I forgot about the Chariot. Chariot makes it in there into the Temple Guard as well. And there's a better picture of Skullcrushers trying to earn their name by slamming into the Saurus Warriors. During the magic phase, the beast gets his spell off on the salamander. I roll a 6, and he makes his toughness check, which was unfortunate. It was the exact wrong one to roll, but what can you do? During the magic phase, also, Saval gets Blue Flame Zinch off on the priest and pops him like a zit. And I was very happy about that because now he doesn't have a caster. In combat over here, it goes left field pretty strong. I am able to kill a lot of the Temple Guard, which help, but the Mutalith gets killed before he can really do anything. Well, that's not entirely true. He does kill some Temple Guard, but he takes 3 wounds exactly, and I make none of my armor saves, and that's when he tells me it's the Banner of Eternal Flame. I'm like, oh no, I didn't know. But what can you do? I didn't ask, and it didn't come into effect. It just wasn't something that he had to use when we were in combat. So how was I supposed to know? That's the beautiful thing about magic items, you know? But I was able to do enough wounds that although I do lose, I think I lose by 1, and with the BSB and everything like that, I'm able to stick it out. So yeah, the beast dies. That sucks. I should have charged him into Saurus Wars, but you know, hindsight's 2020. I'm sorry, beast. Yeah, he got the shit end of the stick on that one. Over here in combat, Skull Crushers actually earn their name. They shave off a serious amount of these Saurus Warriors. There's about six or 7 of them missing, which is not terrible considering he's got parry saves and stuff like that. And they take a wound for their trouble. I win this combat, but they're stubborn and don't go anywhere, or steadfast and don't go anywhere. Meanwhile, over here, Lord Tremendous has enough of this talking crap and decides to just punch right through the skull of the Scar Veteran and win the negotiations. So that was cool. Over here in bottom of 3, as you can see, not a whole lot's going on. The Salamander turns around to look at some stuff, and that's about it. In combat over here, I make a boatload of saves. Not armor saves. I know what you're thinking. Oh, well, the BSB's got a 1-up rollable armor save, and the Chariot's got a 3-up armor save, so they're doing all right. It's just -2. No, I failed my armor saves. I started making my ward saves like a 6 was the only thing on my dice. Yeah, if it hadn't been for me rolling 6s like it was going out of style, both of these guys would have been dead right now, and the Temple Guard would have been doing something else. I got lucky as hell. And then, we do all those wounds to them. They lose combat, but, they're steadfast, stubborn, with a reroll, with cold blood, and not going anywhere. But, oh my god, did I make some saves. Over here in combat, the Skull Crushers continue to beat down the Saurus Warriors, and of course one of them dies. I win this combat, but they're steadfast and they don't go anywhere. So we go to top of 4 after movement, and my Demon Prince slams into the Saurus Warriors because he desperately needs to eat some souls because he's got 1 wound left. The Corn Warriors charge into the Bastillodon because I want it dead, and everything else is either dead or in combat. Well, the dogs hang up by the fence because they smell something nice. Here's a better picture of my Demon Prince slamming into the Saurus Warriors. And the entire purpose of this was, well, not the entire purpose, but I wanted to Soul Feeder, really. Right here, the Warriors are just going to try to beat the crap out of this Bastillodon and secure the points. During the magic phase, I'm able to get treason off on the Saurus Warriors. Not that they were really that close to the Slan. I think they were close enough to the Slan to use his leadership in the BSB, but I just wanted to make sure that they couldn't, so that when I got them to break, or when I got them to take the checks, they had to break, or they had a better chance to break anyway. In combat, we beat the crap out of these Saurus Warriors. There's only about 12 left, 11 or 12 left. They're still steadfast and they stay, but I heal a wound off of Lord Tremendous, and so the healing process begins. And over here, my Corn Warriors were able to do 3 wounds to the Bastillodon, losing only 1 for their trouble, and I think the Bastillodon ends up standing, but he gets, that's fine. We don't go anywhere. Over here in combat, once again, I make all my saves, and I kill a ton of the Temple Guard, both the BSB and the Chariot. I don't know what's going on, but some sort of good karma is kicking in because I am making saves that math says is literally impossible. Once again, they lose combat, but they're steadfast and they stay. There's kind of a lot going on during this one. I'm kind of getting nervous and excited at the same time, so I forget to take a picture of bottom of 4 after movement. I apologize. But I didn't forget too much longer after that because there's a better picture of the pterodons flying over Saval and pooping the fire bolas on his head, and one actually gets through and wounds him. Meanwhile, over here, during his shooting phase, his magic phase is nothing. His salamander fires off his shot at the dogs, I think just because, and kills all 3 of them. Meanwhile, the skinks that have been harassing my corn warriors this whole time, I guess they did break the Bastillon and I forgot. I'm sorry. It does get away, I know that. But the skinks run over and kill one more corn warrior because they're mean. And then over here, I made 2 ward saves for my chariot and 1 for my BSB that kept them all, both in this game. Yeah, it was insane. And of course, I did a ton of wounds to the Temple Guards again. I win this combat, but they're steadfast and they stick around. Over here, it finally happens. The Saurus warriors are killed. I think there's like 1 or 2. I think just the banner guy is left. The Skull Crushers run him down. He explodes when they break. And my Demon Prince heals another, soul feeds another wound, and then turns around to face the Scar Veteran because, not the Scar Veteran, but he turns around to face the Temple Guard so that he can charge in there and try to finish off that combat. So here's top of 5 after movement, and as you can see, it's it's the best part that you can think of. My Demon Prince is able to make it into combat with the Temple Guard, which he actually charges the salamanders that you see on the other side there, and they break. They don't break. They flee. He chooses to flee, and so they get away. They bounce through stuff, and everything's good. Meanwhile, my Corn Warriors charge a Bastillodon, who stands and shoots, and my Corn Warriors fail their charge. And the Skull Crushers charge the last remaining unit of Pterodons, which is fun. Meanwhile, Saval moves around to just kind of get better angle. I want to try to kill the Scarvet. There's a better picture of the Warriors failing a charge into Bastillodon and losing one of their Warriors for their trouble. And here's a better picture of the Skullcrushers slamming into the Pterodons that are left. There's a better picture of my Demon Prince making it into combat with the Temple Guard, and I can't wait to kill them. During my magic phase, I get Glittering Robes off on my chariot because I'm getting nervous that he doesn't have a 1-up armor save, and I figured, hey, why not? So we go into combat, and as you can see, the 1-up armor save did bupkis. Not a damn thing. My chariot explodes. My BSB does still make his saves, and my Demon Prince does my BSB issues a challenge. The Slan accepts, and I'm not able to get past his ward save, and he's not able to hurt my BSB. But with the charge in the rear and everything like that, we end up winning this combat, but they're still stubborn or steadfast with the Slan in the unit, and they stick around. However, the Pterodons are not as lucky, and they get beat in combat and run down, and my Skull Crushers run off the table, but they'll be back next round. So here's bottom of 5 after movement, and as you can see, there's been just a little bit. His Scarvet charges into the flank of the Corn Warriors, and his Salamanders, I believe they rally. Other than that, I think his Skinks just turn around on the hill to try to harass Saval. Yeah, right here I was a little nervous about this. I know I'm stubborn, but my BSB is too far away to affect them. And with charge, flank, and everything like that, I know I'm going to lose combat, but in 8 I have failed numerous times, so I was really nervous about this one. During his magic phase, he gets Apotheosis off on the Bastillodon and heals like 2 of his wounds, 2 or 3 of his wounds. I don't know if the Bastillodon's fully healed or what, but it pretty much guarantees that I'm not going to be able to kill and get its points now. But the minor miscast on a 9, it just ends his magic phase really because it takes away all the rest of his power dice, but he's able to easily 4-up ward save the wound. And then over here, we go into combat. The unit champion issues a challenge. The Scarvet accepts and myrtleizes him. He wins, and I actually make my stubborn check, so I was very happy about that. And then we go to combat over here, and the Demon Prince and the BSB are able to finish off the Temple Guard and the Slan. And at this point, my opponent just kind of says, hey, listen, this is pretty much over. We didn't call it like a quit or a concede or anything like that. We just ended the game right here. So yeah, as you can see, the only thing we really had left was a couple of units of skinks, couple of salamanders, and his bastillodon. Everything else was dead and bare. Oh, he had a scarvet too. But other than that, it really went my way. It really did, and it had everything to do with the fact that I could not stop making ward saves. It was insane. My opponent really didn't make any mistakes throughout this game. He played his Lizardmen beautifully. A lot of talent, a lot of real talent with the Lizardmen here. But I just botched up his plans by making all my saves. It was ridiculous. I'm thrilled, don't get me wrong, but it was just, yeah, my opponent was a champion. He didn't get frustrated, didn't get mad. You know how it is when your opponent is like not failing saves, like, oh, he's got his light armor against your strength 3, but he rolls 12 sixes in a row. You get frustrated. Anybody would. My opponent, it rolled right off his shoulders. No big deal at all. He was just kind of, it is what it is. But we'll get to the recap in a minute, because right now it's time for a quick timeout. Tokens, fellas. Tokens, tokens, tokens. Wound counters, augment markers, hex markers, every status, ailment, and effect you can think of, from not being able to move to the lore attributes to the lore hexes and bonuses that they provide. Everything that you can think of that you could need a marker for, that we use dice for. Token Grail makes the tokens. Send her an email, tell her what you need. Any gaming system, from Magic the Gathering to Infinity to Malifaux to 40k to Fantasy, whatever you need tokens for, she will make them, and they come out they're flawless. Look at them. They're the glass beads. They magnify the words in the picture, so they're really easy to see from the tabletop and everything like that. They're a lot more accurate than dice, and they're dirt cheap, guys. She sells them for less than $10 a kit. Dirt cheap prices, solid gold quality. Totally worth it. Send her an email, get yourself some tokens. The only request that I make is that if you are overseas, if you're outside of America, before you send her an email, you have to understand that shipping prices are through the roof. So as long as you're okay with paying like $30+ shipping fees, don't send her an email, because it's just going to waste both your times. But if you are in America or you don't mind high shipping fees, then by all means send her an email, get yourself some tokens. Totally worth it. But yeah, in the end, this was one hell of a victory for Lord Tremendous. I ended up getting 2,220 points off my opponent, and that was after all the extra victory points, stuff like that, for the scenario objectives and secret missions and stuff. And my opponent ended up getting 880 off of me. It was a 19-1 victory for Lord Tremendous, which was really good. The Warriors of Chaos ended up losing their Warhounds, the Chariot, the Knights, and the Beast. And the Lizardmen ended up losing the Bastillodon, the Salamanders, Scarvet, or everything but a Bastillodon, a unit of Salamanders, a Scarvet, and 2 units of Skinks. So he still had some stuff left over, but I just didn't feel like being a jerk. A 19-1 is really good. I'm not that big of a jerk that I need the 20-0, and he just decided to say, hey, listen, it's over, you win. And I didn't want to take that. I got a 19-1. Yeah, okay, sure, it could have been a 20-0, but who cares? The 1 point ain't gonna make or break me. And the guy was cool. There was no reason to be a jerk about it. But unreal how many saves my BSB and Chariot made too. It was really ridiculous. Really ridiculous how many saves I made. Saval making that crazy charge in turn 1 and stopping his pterodons cold like that. Holy zinch, that was awesome. And my Skull Crushers were finally useful. They actually made their charge this game and took care of the Saurus Warriors. Yeah, my Demon Prince came in and helped in the end, but still, how awesome was that? But again, this was a really cool guy, a really good opponent. He didn't make any mistakes. He just couldn't get past my dice, letting me make all my ward and armor saves and stuff like that. More ward than armor saves, but yeah, it was ridiculous. One of the best people I've ever met at a GT, though. Real cool guy. Truly fun to play against. It was fun to hang out with, fun to talk with, stuff like that. Came up throughout the tournament, seeing how I was doing, stuff like that. Real cool guy. And believe it or not, later on that day, we were playing a hero bash thing, a little, you make a 250 point hero and play and fight him against everybody else's 250-point hero. It was a lot of fun. But he was in it, and he actually won one of the door prizes, which was the Dungeons and Dragons first 9 episodes, that little animated series. And I just made the comment that I wanted it. I was like, oh man, congratulations, I wanted that. That's cool. And he just gave it to me. He's like, I'll never watch it here. That's the kind of guy I was playing. Just a giver, a real good person, good heart. So really happy I got to play against this guy. If you ever get a chance and you run into this guy at a GT, buy him a beer and play a game against him. Real cool guy. But the GT is going well for me so far. 2 wins, 0 draws, 0 losses. Met 2 really great opponents that were not only talented, but just good people. And I'm having a blast. At this point, I couldn't wait to get to round 3. I just wanted to see what was going to happen. But yeah, guys, that's going to do it for this battle report. Number 93, the SHILOH 2014 GT Game 2. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or complaints, please put them in the comment section below, and I'll get back to you as quick as I can. I hope you guys are continuing enjoying these. I'm really enjoying making them, really enjoying the way this is going. And, but yeah, guys, as always, thanks.